When a man tries to treat a woman exactly the way she says she wants, he ends up colliding with an uncomfortable reality. Her words do not reveal what truly moves her. The treatment she describes is socially beautiful, politically correct, emotionally convenient. But it is not the treatment that awakens desire. It is not the treatment that makes her eyes change, her body lean in, her mind fixate on you. And it is exactly here that so many men get lost. They obey the female discourse instead of understanding the female instincts, because what they say they want is different from what their body responds to. And the distance between these two things is where attraction is born or dies. The modern man silently struggles with a cruel dilemma. He tries to be too understanding, too present, too kind. He thinks that being as pleasant as possible will finally make him be chosen. He tries to be the perfect partner, the ideal man, the one who never disappoints, never confronts, never frustrates. But this emotional performance destroys exactly what he wanted to build. He is seen as useful but not necessary, as sweet but not desired, as comfortable but not irresistible. And deep down he knows. He feels that the more perfect he tries to be, the more invisible he becomes. David Buss, one of the greatest names in evolutionary psychology, showed something that should be obvious, but that modern society tries to hide. Female preferences were shaped by millions of years of natural selection. It does not matter what culture says. It does not matter what social media posts. It does not matter what they verbalize. In practically all cultures, women prioritize masculine signals of direction, ambition, status, confidence, and emotional stability. Isolated kindness without strength, without standards, without limits, does not awaken desire. It only awakens convenience. Women do not want a perfect man. They want a centered man, and centered is not the same as submissive. The truth most men never hear is simple and unsettling. Many women want respect inside a masculine structure that is firm, selective, and non-negotiable. They want someone whose identity is so solid that he does not need to negotiate his limits to keep anyone close. The man who tries to please loses. The man who establishes emotional territory wins, and that is exactly what this video will deliver. Brutal clarity about the only type of treatment that truly ignites feminine desire, respect, and investment. It is not aggression. It is not domination. It is not coldness for no reason. It is something much deeper and much more powerful. The ability to maintain your masculine structure intact while offering selective warmth. Most men do not have the courage to apply this. Most fear losing. Most fear seeming too harsh. Most fear being misunderstood. But when you understand how the female internal mechanism works, you realize the risk is not in being firm. The risk is in never being firm at all. And from this point forward, everything changes. Because the treatment that awakens feminine desire does not start with her. It starts with you. The fatal mistake is treating like a princess, someone who treats you like an option. The fall always begins at the same point. When a man decides to offer a woman a place she did not earn, he turns a stranger into a priority. He gives attention before receiving interest. He offers care before there is reciprocity. He creates expectations where there is no commitment. And without noticing, he places himself below her in the emotional hierarchy. When this happens, attraction evaporates. The woman instinctively feels she is facing a man who does not have enough internal world to sustain himself. A man who lives orbiting around her instead of living his own life. And nothing kills feminine desire faster than realizing that you placed yourself in an inferior position. The truth is harsh. Treating like a princess, someone who treats you like an option, turns you into an accessory, not a choice. The immediate application is clear. Never offer girlfriend treatment to a woman who behaves like a casual option. Before elevating your care, observe whether she respects you, responds to you, prioritizes you, because respect comes before investment and reciprocity comes before giving. Evolutionary psychology explains this phenomenon with almost surgical precision. Women throughout history filtered men by perceived value, not declared romanticism. Direction, decision-making ability, emotional stability, and inner strength are ancestral markers of safety. When you place yourself below her emotionally, when you yield too much, when you hesitate too much, her brain interprets that as weakness. And weakness does not awaken attraction. Thus reinforces that women prefer assertive, confident, decisive partners because this conveys instinctive safety, not only logic. And instinctive safety is the fuel of desire. The practical application is simple and transformative. Stop asking all the time what she wants to do. Decide, declare, direct. Proposing a path without asking for approval creates a leadership climate that the female mind finds naturally stimulating. This is exactly where the first major expectation shift appears. Many men believe the secret is to pamper, please, and make everything easy. They think that the more affection and availability they offer, the more desired they will become. But the reality is the opposite. They do not want to be pampered without criteria. They want to be led with firmness. When you distribute unlimited attention, unfiltered affection, and infinite patience to someone who does not give you the same, you create an imbalance that destroys her interest. What keeps desire alive is not excess, it is selectivity. Women become deeply interested in men who know how to say no, who know how to impose boundaries, who know how to position themselves without aggressiveness. A no spoken calmly is worth more than 1,000 favors spoken anxiously. The application is objective. Whenever something crosses your limits, such as constant lateness, disrespect, or games, say no calmly. Your serene tone communicates more strength than any emotional outburst ever could. Studies confirm what many men only notice too late. In 2011, the University of British Columbia discovered that women rate men with confidence and slight seriousness as more attractive than men who smile excessively and submissively. This reveals something essential. Firm body language, stable eye contact, and a neutral facial expression carry more magnetism than the constant attempt to appear happy and pleasing. The nervous smile is read as insecurity. The exaggerated smile as submission. The neutral expression conveys presence. The application is direct. Abandon the automatic smile. Relax your face, hold eye contact. Do not try to soften everything with friendliness. Silent strength always outweighs desperate pleasing. All of this is organized into a simple and powerful method, the reciprocity filter. Step 1. Observe if she invests. Who looks for you? Who starts conversations? Who shows real curiosity about your life? Step 2. Adjust your attention proportionally. She gives little, you give little. She gives a lot, you follow. Step 3. If she only appears when she wants something, you drastically reduce your investment. This filter reprograms the male brain to stop treating as a priority someone who only uses you as a backup plan. And the man who masters this filter never again falls into the mistake of offering value to someone who never returns it. The treatment they do not admit but respect. Masculine firmness with selective warmth. There's a silent behavior that destroys attraction almost instantly. The man who confuses being understanding with being overly available. He believes that to be different from other men, he must become her emotional safe place before he is even someone significant in her life. And when he does that, he turns himself into a therapist, not a man. The space for tension disappears. The mystery evaporates. The masculine energy that sustains attraction is replaced by a softness that inspires neither respect nor desire. The problem is not being kind. The problem is being kind without boundaries. The application is simple. Separate two territories. There is a moment for empathy and a moment for limits. Mixing the two destroys magnetism. Social psychology describes a paradox that few men understand. Women say they seek sensitive, emotionally understanding men. But when we observe real behavior, they feel more attracted to men who combine understanding with inner strength. The famous calm dominance. They do not want emotional submission. They want stability combined with firmness. Studies from the University of Rochester show that assertiveness combined with empathy is one of the most desired traits in romantic partners. In other words, She wants to be understood, but she does not want you to abandon your structure to please her. The application is objective. Validate her feeling, but sustain your decision. Say with clarity, "I understand what you're feeling, but that does not work for me." This combination of support and boundary creates a powerful psychological impact. Tension increases when you understand what truly creates emotional safety for a woman. It is not the man who accepts everything, but the man who knows how to confront with respect. It sounds crazy, but many women feel safer next to a man who does not give in to whims, who does not victimize himself, who does not react with loss of control. When you correct a behavior, when you do not accept disrespect, when you establish boundaries calmly and directly, her brain reads this as presence, strength, and maturity. It is a type of emotional leadership she will never verbally admit liking, but she respects it deeply. The practical application is clear. When facing tests, drama, or exaggeration, do not argue. Do not over-explain. Do not try to convince. Simply place a boundary with short phrases. "I do not stay if it is like this. If this is how it goes, it is not for me." It is simple, clean, and devastatingly effective. Studies reinforce this reality. A University of Texas study showed that women consider men with high emotional stability more attractive, especially in conflict situations. This means emotional explosion and submission fall into the same category, failures of control. The man who masters his own reactivity becomes immediately more valuable because he creates emotional predictability. And emotional predictability ignites desire in a silent but constant way. The application is direct. Train the pause before responding. Got a provocative message? Stop for 2 seconds. Breathe. Act based on who you are, not on what the emotion of the moment wants to turn you into. This balance becomes perfect when you apply the method we call warmth with edges. The rule is simple and transforms any feminine dynamic. Kindness for those who respect you, educated coldness for those who test you without consideration, absolute distance in the face of clear disrespect. This contrast creates in her brain the sensation that you are a good man, but dangerous to be abused. A man who is accessible but not manipulable. A man who is warm but never weak. This is the treatment they do not ask for, do not admit, but respect in silence. It is the treatment that separates the desired man from the discarded man. And if you want to learn how to build this type of masculine presence in a deep, strategic, and inevitable way, the seduction code is the logical next step. There, I give you complete maps of feminine behavior, communication structures that generate instant respect, advanced psychological techniques to lead interactions without apparent effort, as well as models of boundaries, posture, eye contact, tone of voice, and emotional escalation that cannot be taught in free videos. The code was created to transform an ordinary man into someone emotionally solid, irresistible, and strategically prepared. If you want to master this dynamic at a level most men will never reach, the link to the seduction code is in the description and pinned comment. The treatment they never confess, being chosen, not idolized. The greatest sabotage a man commits against himself is treating a woman as if she were a rare prize while seeing himself as just a desperate competitor. This imbalance destroys the perception of value. The feminine mind is extremely sensitive to emotional positioning. When you put yourself below, she immediately notices. When you show neediness, she automatically loses curiosity. When you offer yourself too much, she loses the desire to conquer you. The error is not liking a woman. The error is liking her more than you like your own life. The practical application is the simplest and most powerful shift you can make today. Replace the mindset of "I hope to be chosen" with "I'm evaluating as well." This internal shift changes your gaze, your posture, your silence, your decisions. It is an invisible repositioning that she senses before you speak. Social psychology confirms this mechanism. Attraction is not just emotion. It is perception of social value. Studies show that people desired by other people are automatically seen as more attractive, more confident, and more valuable. It is the effect of social proof. When your life is rich, when your circle exists, when you have purpose, goals, friends, horizons, her brain interprets this as high demand. And high demand increases interest. Not showing your life, hiding your projects, abandoning your routine to remain overly available creates the opposite effect. It communicates that you are not sought after. The practical application is objective. Make it clear that your life exists, that your world is moving, that you have goals greater than a relationship, and that she's getting to know a man, not replacing someone's emptiness. And here's where the expectation break that confuses so many men appears. Women do not want to be your world. They want to enter a world already in motion. When you stop everything for her, cancel commitments, live by message notifications, abandon your rituals, she does not interpret that as romance. She interprets it as dependence, and dependence kills attraction. What truly awakens desire is seeing that your life is exciting enough that she wants to be part of it. When she realizes that you choose her instead of idolizing her, the game changes completely. The practical application is disciplined. Keep your schedule, your training, your projects. Do not bend at the smallest invitation. Do not offer your schedule as proof of affection. And the man who stays in motion generates continuous attraction. Studies reinforce this truth. The University of Rochester showed that people value selective partners more than overly available partners as long as they remain responsive. Selectivity is read as value. Availability without criteria is read as weakness. This is the central point. You can like her, you can invest in her, but you can never place your life on a pedestal lower than her momentary desire. When you do that, you lose the tension that sustains attraction. The practical application is clear. Show interest, but show that your life does not revolve around her. You are present, but not captive, interested, but not surrendered. All this is summarized in a simple and brutally honest method, the axis of male choice. 3 questions you must ask about any woman. First, does she respect my boundaries? Second, does she improve or destroy my energy? Third, if I had other options, would I choose this woman again? These questions eliminate illusions, cut fantasies, and return clarity. They prevent you from giving premium treatment to someone who adds nothing to your world. They align your posture with your value. The final application is direct. Use these questions as a constant filter. The treatment you offer should always match the response you receive. And when you treat a woman according to your real value, her desire for you grows from instinct, not convenience. Conclusion. It sounds crazy, but the right way to treat her is the way that protects you first. The central truth of this video is simple and uncomfortable. Women do not want to be treated like queens on a throne of fantasy. They want to be treated with respect within the psychological territory of a man who respects himself first. When you place yourself below, you lose space. When you give without criteria, you lose impact. When you mold yourself to fit her desire, you lose exactly what would make her desire you. The right treatment begins before her. It begins in you. Jordan Peterson insists that individual responsibility is the foundation of any dignified life. This applies directly to seduction. Before trying to understand how to treat a woman, a man must learn to treat himself as someone of value. If your life is in disorder, if you live in reactive mode, if you do not have boundaries, purpose, and direction, no external behavior will feel natural. The respect you demand from her is born from the respect you cultivate for yourself. When you align internally, attraction stops being a performance and becomes a consequence. The turning point is inevitable. When you begin to act like a man who carries real value, everything changes. Your communication changes, your posture changes, your emotional rhythm changes. You stop trying to please and start selecting. You stop having fear and start having criteria. You abandon idolization and assume emotional leadership in the interaction. Women notice this immediately, not because you speak differently, but because you vibrate differently. The extra step is direct and transformative. For the next 7 days, instead of asking, "What do I do to please her?" ask, "What would a high-value man do in this situation?" This question alone reorganizes your conduct. It changes your responses, your tone, your patience, your gaze. It eliminates neediness and installs presence. It is an exercise in masculine realignment that separates the man who chases from the man who attracts naturally. The seduction code is the natural continuation of everything you saw here. It is where you will master in depth the practical structures that make this firm, selective, and irresistible behavior real. There you learn step by step how to establish boundaries, how to respond to feminine tests, how to identify real signs of interest, how to adjust your posture and communication to transmit value without saying a word. All based on real psychology, behavioral studies, and modern social dynamics. They are advanced techniques that could never be given away in free videos. If you want to leave the amateur level and take real control over your life with women, the link to the seduction code is in the description and pinned comment.